What do we do when we're swirling around with fear and doubt and frustration? All these emotions. They're, for one, uncomfortable. The thoughts can feel like self-torturous, right? When you're facing a problem that your parts believe need to be fixed, and especially with a time urgency, we're afraid that we're going to be facing some sort of situation, a consequence, and they're really big when it comes to money. Those of us who have an awareness that we're so much more than our thoughts and our small human parts of us that just want to be good enough, right? All of those parts, beliefs, and then the feelings that go along with it. It's interesting how it's so different, and I am speaking from my own personal experience and then sitting with others, that before I had an awareness like I do now, I could say it felt a bit simpler living life. It wasn't easy. And something within me has been drawn to search, explore, be curious for more and more and more and more. And back years ago, I didn't really know what it was about. I just couldn't figure out why I just didn't feel quite right. And now I have an awareness that it's because I was looking out there, and why I look outside, why any of us look outside, is because we're struggling in here. And we never were taught that there's even different parts of us that feel and perceive things that aren't even true. They're real because we experience them. But when you begin to open up through what I'll call a process of awakening, when we look for deeper meaning, we're asking questions like, who am I really? Why am I really here? How do we come to even be here? When I step into, it's not even stepping into, but when I access that, this is a miracle that we're even here breathing. But we get so stuck in our head with this third dimensional, human focused so-called reality that there's problems to be fixed, obligations to be met. I don't know about any of you, but I don't want to live like that. And it's not easy to have all of these awarenesses where I'm not just this human. I am so much more in the creation of my experience as a consciousness in this human form. And living day-to-day life, I feel like can be really challenging. I want to just go into my meditation and be in my imagination, whether I'm imagining things I want to do or experience, or the experience of a more quiet, non-attached beingness. I don't know how else to describe it. When we go beyond our mind and the thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts just will not quiet. I was meditating today, and boy, I've got this part of me that's just like, no, we got to figure this thing out. And it just keeps wanting to come in. But I've been practicing being with it and observing this part that when it's running a lot feels like me. It is not the me, it's not I. I don't experience joy when led by that part. But I also don't believe in, I need to get rid of it. A lot of people talk about parts relating to ego and just to quiet those parts because they're not all that we really are. And different things work for different people. But I feel like it's a part of me that wants to be seen. And I think for years unknowingly I was just shutting it all down, or just trying to please it, or didn't even know. I just thought it was me. So this is what I love to support people in. Why I'm creating communities like my Facebook community and on YouTube. We're so trying to fix problems so we can get to the relief we're wanting. And we do need support to do that, but neither I nor anyone has the answers to solve the problem. It's not a problem, but it's an awareness and belief that there's a problem, which makes it real. And so it can kind of get sort of that mind-boggling. The mind just like wants to understand, but it goes beyond, because understanding is cognitive. And that's what I love about meditation. And there's all kinds of different meditations, is to be aware of what is right here, what's coming in, but more as an observer and being with the different aspects, parts, including thoughts, fears, all those things. Just to see these parts of us like they're little ones. Like we can just so naturally have compassion and lovingness for children, most of us. And we have that inside. It's like little ones that want attention. They've wanted to feel good enough, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved. And we may feel that that has worked in some ways, but it never ends. This seeking and searching, it just doesn't ever end when it keeps going outside. So I want to invite going inside. And that can be very, very challenging, painful, uncomfortable, because what is there has lots of beliefs, sensations, and a lot of them don't feel good. So we have parts of us that just help us avoid that without us even knowing it. It just kicks in and does this protection. So where I come in my work with people, and I draw from my background as a mental health therapist for almost 20 years, and I love the work that I've done with my clients in that realm, but I've done it in a very mind-body connected, mind-body-spirit connected way with my clients that has really been quite different from where I started out with analyzing and trying to help people understand and treating anxiety, treating PTSD. I don't see it that way anymore in that aspect. And this is what really has propelled me into the coaching sort of realm. I'm not into what I call myself, but there's a big difference between role as a therapist and role as a coach. And it varies, of course. There's not one way to do that, but there's limitation for therapists in how we can approach our work with clients. And it just by the virtue I have to diagnose people so they can get their health insurance. Like that just feels not very good. But what I love to help people do is bridge. So if we're over here struggling, wanting answers, looking outside, wanting to be enough, feeling like we're not enough and we got to fix problems and all those things, how do we bridge from that and be able to go inward? Because just that first initial consideration of going inward, it just feels either impossible. Many people have said, well, I can't meditate, I don't, And so we work with what can feel like obstacles to that. And it's never forced. There's no shoulds. With me, there's no shoulds. You are right where you are on your beautiful journey. And we want to help you know that this is a journey. The parts of you are not going to get that. But your core true self completely gets that. And then we have very wise parts that have learned and listened to other people's experiences. That has helped me tremendously. I stopped watching problem-focused teachings, and now I'm just more, I mean, we're all in a different place with it, and it's all okay. The, I'll call it compulsion that I've experienced, and it still comes in, to continue to seek answers outside. Where does it keep leading me? Right back in, because I have so much awareness now that I don't get very far down that particular path that I used to live in 24/7. And it fights. It's like it's fighting to survive. And you're not trying to kill it. We don't need to make it go away. We want to love it. People say, "Oh, just love yourself." It's a process and it's a journey. I think it's the entire journey. So I hope that this resonates for whoever needs to hear this right now. We're not alone. We're so much more than we know, but we can't get that from up here. If you need help, support, guidance, it is all here for you. You just don't see it or know it. Whether it's free content like this or wanting to work directly one-on-one, certainly know you could reach out to me. I'm here. If you have questions, I'm even happy to respond to them in the form of a video. If you feel so called, you can join my Facebook group, and let's just be in this together. Open up to honoring all that we are. Thank you so much.